Hey, my name's Henny from Pink Elephant Media, and today I want to discuss with you um, some top tips on what to look out for when you are choosing to have your website redesigned. And one of those elements is the platform that you decide to build your site on. Now, generally, what people do when they are looking to build a new site is they will go out and look at web developers' websites, see which ones they like, which ones have good reviews, and make a decision accordingly, or maybe have a recommendation from someone, which is a good way to sort of go about that. However, there are some elements that I would like to discuss that you may not think about. One of those is the platform in which you build it on, because that can literally make or break how successful your website actually is. So when you are looking for a web developer, our top tip number one is to write down a list of goals that you want this website to achieve. Is it to increase leads? Is it to increase the efficiency within your business organization? Is it that your business has changed in the last year and it needs to do something different than it did before? If you write down a list of all the objectives that your website needs to achieve, that is a good starting point, seeing whether the platform in which you want to do it on is suitable for the job in hand. The other thing to look out for is the goals of the client. What are your clients' goals? How are you going to achieve those, and how does that platform support you? And these are questions that you need to ask your web developer, because sometimes the platform that they've got is not always suitable. Other things to ask are, is the platform that we've got extendable? And by that, I mean, will it grow as your business grows? So this has never been more important with the pandemic, where we have had businesses completely change their business models overnight online to be able to keep delivering, whether that is when they were originally delivering courses face to face, they're now doing that online, whether they weren't e-commerce and they just had a physical store and then had to become e-commerce with booking systems. That really was able to happen because we had an open source platform, which means that where you have with WordPress, it's open source, you have plugins that will add into your site, which come from an open source, which means that lots of people all around the world are developing these platforms, a little bit like apps for your telephone, that allow us to add these into websites relatively inexpensively, so that a client can keep delivering, doing what they do, and they can change at a moment's notice, and that is not a problem. You also want a website that has the ability to accept JavaScript. Now, JavaScript is used in really quite a lot of marketing tools now, which are imperative for getting data back on what your clients like, what they don't like, so you can keep delivering what they do. It also operates in a way that if you want to add heat maps and scroll maps to your site, record visitor journeys, IP tracking software, which identifies anonymous visitors, all run off these types of platforms, this type of JavaScript. And therefore, you want a site that has the ability to accept that. Now, that excludes a lot of the self-build sites, which are very limited. You want to also look out for things like hidden costs. So Shopify is a great example in this regard, where they have lots of hidden costs in their platform. Things like receipts, create the ability to create landing pages, all come at an extra cost. And they are a monthly, often subscription cost, which means that again and again and again, you're paying for the same thing, where overall that may end up being cheaper just to have a developer add that onto a different platform like WooCommerce in the first place. So you need to look at your business plan, how your company intends to grow over the course of the next 5 years, and make sure that this platform that you build on is really suitable. Another feature to look out for is advanced SEO function. So those are the words that you put on your site so the search engines can understand what your website is about. Now, this has changed massively in the last 2-3 years. It's advanced with something called schema markup, which basically allows us to tell the search engines how to read your website. And that gives surety to the to the search engines that they are delivering back the right result. And without these advanced functions, you are simply going to be left behind come 2022, 23. So that also, again, rules out some of the self-build websites. And on some of these, although they say they have schema, you need to make sure with your web developer that that schema is suitable, doesn't have any technical issues on it. We are seeing on lots of platforms, again, like Shopify, their schema markup tools are not fit for purpose yet. So you really need to make sure that whoever you choose as your web developer has experience of that tool and knows that it will deliver. Obviously, you want to make sure that your site is mobile, tablet responsive. You also want to make sure that you get full editing rights to your website, that you're not always going to be reliant on the developer to come back to you. And that once you've had a think about how you want to use it, what sort of marketing you are also going to want to do towards that platform. That might mean that you need help from your developer to decide on a good marketing technique, because a website is really an engine. It makes everything work. You have to feed that like you would do with a car with petrol or diesel or electric. It has to be fed for it to be successful. So we need to think about the types of marketing you're doing, the type of technology that needs to go on a site to make it work. So those are some top tips. We're going to be giving away loads more in the next few months on how to do this. We have courses and events. Please look at our events page that talk about how to build websites that make money. You don't need to be a developer for a website to come along to this. Companies can come along as well and get some tips. So hopefully those are helpful. Please leave comments in the box below and subscribe or follow to get more top tips.